started writing raps. This was the summer before my 9th grade year of high school. It was I was 14 years old. It was 1991, the summer of 1991. I actually had a dream that I was a rapper. And I had been, for about 3 years at this point, I had been a huge fan of rap music and culture. I had a dream that I was a rapper. You know what I'm saying? I was on stage, but that I wasn't trying to. At that time, you know, Vanilla Ice was real popular, and he was kind of mimicking, you know, other people's culture rather than really just truthfully presenting his own. And I had a dream that I was on stage and I was really representing who I was and where I was from, using hip hop as the vehicle. And so the next night, I was sitting at my kitchen table in the little house down on the dirt road down near LaGrange, Georgia, where I grew up, and I started just writing raps. And they were whack to begin with, but I noticed I had a knack for putting words together creatively, for rhyming cool words together. That's when it started, summer of 1991. I actually first recorded my song in the studio the summer of 1995. I was working 2 jobs. I was working at a convenience store that my father ran, and I was doing electrical contracting work, working 60 hours a week doing that, very manual labor. And me and this cat that I ain't talked to in over 10, 12 years, that fell off the deep end, but that I was in a rap group with in LaGrange, Georgia at the time. LaGrange, Georgia is a little town about an hour southwest of Atlanta, where I grew up. And he and I saved up about $300-400 a piece. And we went into the studio and we had to make our own beats and, you know, just start from scratch with the whole process. But we had to pay for it, and we learned a lot from that process. That was the first time I would say, made music. My inspiration is my big brother, Russ, you know what I'm saying? And all the things that he's been through in his life, good and bad. He's been locked up a couple times for different things. Rather than locked up, just been through a lot of serious ordeals, you know what I'm saying, in his life. And he was always my big brother, my father, and everything that my father ever went through in his life. You know what I'm saying? My father worked very hard, manual labor, worked his hands to the bone just to reach a point where he could have a child that could think the way I think and could dream the way I dream. You know what I'm saying? My father worked really hard to put me in a position to be able to dream. So I'd say those are some of my biggest inspirations. You know what I'm saying? Just the dirt road I grew up on. You know what I'm saying? Where we had electricity, but there's a house a mile down the road that doesn't have electricity or indoor plumbing. I guess just those type of things are what inspire me, what make me get out of the bed every day, and what inspire me to write. You know, still to this day. My formula generally starts with a beat. You know what I'm saying? And then I try to think of a clever title for a song. Then it goes to a hook, and then the verses are just kind of something I fill in. But I'd say that's generally my process. It goes title, hook, verse, but all starting from the beat. Petey Pablo is something that Petey Pablo and Timbaland really too, but Timbaland taught me that at the end of the day, your voice is nothing more than just another instrument in the music. You know, and Petey Pablo said, when you listen to a beat, if you listen, the words are already in there. You just gotta pluck them out. You know what I'm saying? The Pro Tools gripes my fucking nerves a little bit as well. You know, I know I heard Timbaland say this once before. Who's someone that I will always hold the greatest level of respect and admiration for. He said that, you know, it's just too easy now. Anybody can make a song. You know what I'm saying? When we were growing up, you had to. It was several different layers to the process. Saving up your money, finding a studio, booking the studio, figuring out what the hell to do once you got in the studio, cultivating your gift, cultivating your product to make it sound halfway worth the fuck once you got in the studio. Now it's just, you know, I'm gonna go get this one computer program, come back, buy a mic, I'm gonna spend, you know, $2,500, my income tax check, and all of a sudden I'm in the game. You know what I'm saying? And I salute that in one breath. But that's not the rules I grew up having to play by. So I'm a little envious, you know what I'm saying, that kids are able to create out of such simplicity. But at the same time, you know what? You either are talented or you're not. No matter how much they simplify the process of making music, you're either gonna be able to make good music or you're not. And that's not something you're just gonna be able to learn. You're either gonna have that or not. They can't cheapen that. They can't give you talent for $2,500. They can give you Pro Tools for $2,500, but they can't give you the talent for $2,500.